Totally agree. All my friends are just trying to challenge me, and it's just what other odds could I give you? I started with
I've
no rook,
taken a
queen, and
rook off
rook.
the board. Oh yeah, you taking a queen and a rook?
Queen and
Odds?
rook. What am I else supposed to do? Welcome to Tea with my Uncle Irohs. Lazy Susan style conversations with mentors and musicians that have inspired me over the years. I'm your host, Son of Paper. Uncle Iroh is a character in Avatar who my generation has deemed the most wise and patient mentor ever. And so this season, I sat down with my uncles and aunties to pick their brains on how to best navigate this planet with wisdom, grace, and compassion. And what better beverage for conversation than tea? Welcome to today's podcast. I have a very special guest, one that I consider not just a mentor and a friend and a teacher, but also more like family, I would say. We've known each other since I was, I believe, 5 years old, 6 years old. Yeah, without further ado, this is Jesse Dioquino, academic chess teacher.
Wow. Hey, that's a pretty nice intro. Yeah, I consider you family as well, buddy. So nice to be on your podcast. It's a very special day. It's my birthday too. I took time off to spend with you on my birthday.
Big happy birthday. I won't disclose the age, but congratulations.
Why don't you disclose the age? Is that a thing? 54. So that's not a thing. I don't know if that's a thing. Maybe some people have that. I'm proud. It's a badge of honor. You know, you wear your gray hairs and your wrinkles and, you know, your sore ankles with honor. 54, buddy.
Yeah, let's just start introducing yourself and tell us more about how you got into teaching chess and everything. I love to hear.
Yeah, it was a kind of a random thing. It wasn't a plan. My name's Jesse Dioquino, and I known Kyle for quite some time, like he said, since he was 6 or 7. I met him going to his school when it was at a smaller campus, San Francisco Friends School on Diamond Street. And that was probably year 4 or 5 that I've been doing this. I've been doing this almost 20 years. And my foray into chess teaching was purely by accident because my former life, I was an aspiring actor. I was doing 4 or 5 jobs at the same time. I was auditioning for stuff, bartending, and I happened to meet while bartending the founder of Academic Chess who came into my bar. And at that time, there was maybe only a handful of schools that was really into chess. But I just started just doing it, and I kind of did it on the fly, and I learned a lot in the process.
Wow. I didn't know that you were a bartender. Actually, that's something new.
Yeah, I'm a slinger of drinks. I do a lot of things. I've done a lot of things in my life, but I think that performance piece of being an aspiring actor and being behind that bar and meeting people from all walks of life, looking for that connection to them, definitely crossed over and transferred to teaching chess and working with kids. I mean, I animate all the pieces. I use different voices and anything to get those kids wide-eyed looking at me. Like maybe you have vague memories of that at your school that you would look up and go, oh my God, this guy has something to say. And that's, I think, part of my personality when I bartended.
That's super awesome. That's something that definitely hooked me to the game of chess. I took lessons after school program at Friends School, like you said. The next summer, I was in chess camp along with a bunch of other wide-eyed kids watching, nothing less than magic or like a performance show.
I have a time machine story that I think is pretty well known with kids in San Francisco about how the pieces came to me. So it just started from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, chess has just risen so much too, which is the funny part. Since you learned the game, since I learned the game, and now it's not only grandmasters teaching chess online, it's people doing streams of them playing games. I would say at least 60 to 70% of my friends have gotten into the game of chess in the last 3 months.
Wow. Yeah, parents, why do you think that is? It's not because of the Queen's Gambit, right? It's not because of that show.
I think it's the Queen's Gambit. I think it's multiple things. So I think it was an aligning of the stars. Queen's Gambit is definitely one of them. I would also say that another big factor is just that it's quarantine and that it's been this extended period of time where people can't see people. So why not work on a new skill?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that is a thing because I've had parents ask me, have you seen an increase in an interest in chess because of the Queen's Gambit. And I love that show, but it's catered to adults. There's a lot of themes in there that I wouldn't have kids do it. But from an educational tool standpoint, chess has always been around. And as far as it being a tool for enhancing critical thinking skills, instilling patience, all the things that made getting chess in schools pretty easy, to be honest.
There's so many other topics I want to get to. One of them is just our relationship and specifically our routine. It's just one of the most iconic memories I have of childhood. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Could you describe picking me up and that ride to chess camp?
Well, first, Kyle, you are one of the very few kids that I recall that your enthusiasm rose to such a level, and I was very privileged to, your parents would drop you off because you lived just a few blocks from us, so you would come to the house and you'd ride in my car. I had an old vintage Mercedes, and you were so open and wide-eyed and we didn't just talk chess. I was like, Kyle, do you know who James Brown is? And now you're an aspiring musician who's James Brown, the godfather of soul. His influence has permeated all hip hop and all different types of genres of music for that matter. And so that's one of my memories of just going to and from chess camp. And then of course the time spent there was watching your game evolve.
Do you remember the two food related things related to our routine as well?
Oh, you love to get these potato wedges at KFC. Am I right? I would get you these potato wedges at KFC, and then eats. There was eats on Clement. Oh God, yeah, you had the strangest bread. Oh, because I know you have all your allergies. I would get you, and the woman would look at me very strangely. I said, yeah, just give me a mound of potatoes and 8 strips of bacon. You would eat just bacon and potatoes. And I was like, all right, kid. I mean, whatever makes you happy. But yeah, is that right?
That's right.
Wedges?
And then I also made your car change its smell.
Oh, what was that from?
Do you remember?
You altered the smell of my car?
By putting in snacks into your glove compartment for yours.
Oh, the rice crackers. Yeah.
It literally changed the smell of your car for the summer.
Teaching is an energy exchange. It's not so much that, and I will say, well, I thank you as well. And Kyle, I'll thank you as a former student, and now I'm grateful to have you in my life as a friend. But as a student, it's reciprocal. And teaching kids has also taught me, teaching you and all the other kids over 20 years of doing this. It's the perfect practice of being in the moment, like a chess game. Mm-hmm. You have to be in that moment. We all have different names. We all have different shoe sizes. We all have different temperaments and personalities. And when a kid comes to you, maybe in your mind, it's not that big a deal, but in their mind, it's the biggest thing in the world. Their world is coming down, and you have to learn to meet them where they are. I mean, you recall there was a moment in your chess playing life where you used to take losses pretty bad,
super
to the
bad.
point of kicking and tears. And I mean, there are gradations between that and kids who just go, oh, I lost. So thank you. You taught me a lot. We still have our talks. I mean, I take things from you all the time, and that's what it is to have relationships. So you want it to be one that you are generous and giving, and you are humble enough to receive things too, just like chess, humble and gracious in victory or defeat, young man.
I had a very short but bright career, ending tournament chess in the 8th grade, but I learned a lot in retrospect. I wrote an essay about it to get me into high school. I then made friends by playing the game of chess and started a club in college. And I think you and Lena collaborated to donate chess sets to Wesleyan Chess Club. And it's just been an incredible experience, just like music has, in terms of building community and making new relationships through a game that's just a universal game. I really appreciated so much the way that you taught the game. I was recently reflecting about all my other past teachers of chess, Larry Christensen, I've had Michael Agner, but none made me as excited about the game as you did. And even the way that I now teach chess, right? So now I teach some privates. I definitely try to embody your style the most out of anyone, right? A very rare and special gift that you have and that you were able to impart on me even as a kid. And I'm still able to learn and grow from it to this day. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Oh, that's awesome. You don't have to thank me for that. You played your part in that as well, with all the other students who sat in front of me that said, hey, I want to be here. I want to be here to learn from you. And without that desire or enthusiasm, then I'm not teaching, so you can take credit for that too, buddy.
One funny story I wanted to tell you was that my parents, they let me know that they weren't sure if you were BSing them, that I actually had talent and I was a special kid in chess. So they're like, is he just trying to make this a private lesson to pay more? What's happening? Like, is my son actually talented, or?
That's pretty funny. It's funny that you tell me that, because I have a fair amount of requests to coach kids privately, and my schedule is actually full, and I won't teach a kid unless I really think two things exist. Like, they're willing to take on a kind of discipline regimen of homework, and that they really want to do it, that I see that they want to take lessons from me. So I've never been a coach who was influenced or sought to make money. I just actually was fortunate. I've been fortunate that I've made a living doing something that I just purely exude joy. But that's a funny story. No, when I met you, you were 6 or like a first grader. And at that time, I'd probably been teaching 6 years. And the way I saw you move pieces to form attacks, and the way you not only just sat there fully attentive, but you started applying them. Other kids, you could tell them why you castle and why you develop, and you'll show them visually on a demonstration board. We'll go to the game and they're still making 7 straight pawn moves. Well, I'm glad it played out for you that your parents did say Jesse was trying to shyster them. Oh, Jung and Sabrina. Oh, your parents are so sweet. No. I'm gonna join your mom's pot sticker class once. So let me ask you. I know this is your little podcast, but so aside from our kind of memories, and it wasn't a thing where it was a given that we would right, kind of be in each other's lives. But I think, and that's why I say this energy exchange that it was reciprocal. Like, we both felt things. I felt like, like you were someone in that hat and that role I wear as a teacher that was memorable and significant.
So I'll give some context, a little bit about family, a little bit about just that time in my life in relation to chess and in relation to transition and change. So I stopped playing chess, and I was headed to high school. I was headed to university high school. But I started a new chapter of life where I would be focusing more on school and sports and social life and stuff like that. It was really hard. It was a really hard and painful choice to quit something that brought me so much joy. Chess, I think, also to me felt like a central part of my relationship to my father, in that we would go on these really long, awesome, but also arduous and kind of lonely trips out to random parts of the country, whether it be Texas, Orlando, Fresno. And we would just spend a lot of time together, and he knew all my physical needs and would make sure I'm the most comfortable I can to excel at what I was doing. And I think that's true for a lot of kids that get to excel, is that their parents are just their number one supporter, right?
Yeah.
And so that was ending, that was changing. And so I think maybe in high school and college, seeing you reminded me of the really bright and sunny days of middle school and before that, where I was just getting into the passion of and love for the game. And so I think that relationship felt kind of paternal, but also felt like I could ask you things more freely than I could to someone else, someone that knew me as a kid. I just felt, just more trust and more security in that relationship. And then I think everything else was just very like natural connections. Like Akoya is a musician now. And so we've connected over that multiple times. We're both big basketball fans, Warriors fans. You've told me about your legendary days as a tall Filipino man just falling out.
Yeah, that's one of the standard lines that I get. You're kind of tall for a Filipino, and I used to play in a Filipino basketball league that it was a height requirement. It was like 6'4" or under. I jokingly say I was the Shaq of the Filipino league because that was kind of a big, yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. So I think there's just other natural intersections because, at the end of the day, it wasn't really about chess, right?
Yeah.
It was about a connection and a viewpoint, like a way of perspective on life. I think that chess is, it's competitive. It's technically like a war game. I feel like it's battle strategy, but at the core of it, it's just teaching you life skills like patience, like you said, about making plans, adapting your plans when they don't go well, being in the moment, being in the right space of mind to deal with adversity, whether you make a mistake or you lose a game early and have to bounce back for the rest of the tournament. I think I remember I lost a round 3 of a national tournament, and you can't win the nationals anymore after you've lost a game. So I told my dad I didn't want to play anymore and that I didn't want to go to Disney World either. And he was like, we're here, you're going to play.
Yeah.
And so, that things like that just taught me a lot more about life. Like, I think that was beyond my years.
Yeah. Well, that's how I see our years evolving as now friends, Kyle, is it is just like chess. We will talk about, I'm sure, decisions maybe you'll contemplate, maybe, you'll want to get my insights and vice versa. I'll ask what you think about something, but that's inherent in chess. There's always a consequence to a decision made. And sometimes we will think that it is the right decision because we've thought it through, and then it might play out that it's a mistake. But like you say, we have to adapt. But you hit it right on the head. Chess it is at face value this battle game, but there's so many subplots and things going on behind a game of chess that you could just throw on into life. So I've been actually writing down a couple of stories, and maybe in a year we could have another podcast. I'll share with you this thing I'm taking on. So you talked about, in times of COVID, people are learning new things. So I'm actually, I'm not really learning it, but I'm starting to write down all my stories around chess and how my side name is the chess detective. People call me that because I've dressed a certain way. So I'm writing this book about decision making and weaving it and crossing it over to my solving of mysteries off the chessboard and on the chessboard. So that's the thing I'm spending a good amount of time on.
That's awesome.
So I think that's how our relationship will go too. You'll share some really cool things with me, successes, some trials, some frustrations, and overall, I think you have paved the way. You've set yourself up to succeed in whatever you do. So that I'm proud to have played a part in your life, young man.
Oh, thank you. Are you able to talk about Black Moves First? And
Black Moves First was this thing I had in the middle of coming out of a meditation session. I was like, I'm going to do this thing where I wanted to teach the game of chess to people of color, and then mentor young African Americans to teach chess and to teach them how to think critically, and then form staffs to go into neighborhoods where we could bring chess to. So, and say I was going to do this on my own time for free, not going to charge, just try to go foot forward with my intention. And you got a lot going on. I mean, your plans were derailed going down to LA and, pursuing music full time. So you're showing your adaptability. I'm proud of you that you even think of these things to do these podcasts and reach out to your mentors, and then all the while trying to create music, and you're teaching chess. So, you're filling up your space, and you're lending balance to your life, which is awesome. I would want that for anybody, and you're showing it. So it's really great stuff.
I appreciate it.
And then we'll have to get in and play some poker soon. I miss playing poker.
I know.
I mean, I miss live poker. Like, I miss sitting at a table. Like, that's a thing. I have big dreams to win a World Series of Poker bracelet. I miss sitting at a table, looking at people and going, I could see right through your soul, kid. Yeah, good memories.
For anyone listening to the podcast that is just trying to improve their game on their own, what's just one or two things that you would recommend them to do to just instantly get better and be on the path to self-improvement?
I would memorize 8 opening principles, like just what you're supposed to do as the foundation of your game in the first part of a chess game, the opening. Like fighting for that center, developing, securing your king, all that. I would do get on a regimen of puzzles. I'd probably do, like, if you can, do 5-10 puzzles a day. Start with that and start nurturing that pattern recognition of your chess playing brain that will, once you get out of the opening and start recognizing things, oh yeah, this is where I've seen combinations happen in the puzzles I'm working on. So if you just did that at the very beginning, and then, of course, expand on that and look at your games too. Like, why did you lose? Have someone analyze your games. Like, why am I losing this game? Where did I, identify a position where you think the position was, or the game was lost? Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the same thing I've been telling my students. So if the parents watching, just know that I got it from somewhere, not just from
there you go,
the internet or something.
Yeah, you're part protege. You're my protege and a good friend, Kyle. I have no doubt that the baton of knowledge, I've handed it over to you, and I feel. And if anything comes up with your students, yeah, you always have someone, an ear. You could say, well, whatever. Yeah, you have that part that will make a great teacher, which is you're looking to connect to them. So chess is just the backdrop. You're gonna be a teacher of other things, I'm sure, at some point in life too. I mean, you have things you want to share. And it's one of my messages I say to kids too out there. I say, share your knowledge. They say, oh, I beat my dad. I crushed him. And I go, hey, but listen, if you keep crushing your dad because your dad doesn't have the backdrop of information to play a good game of chess, you'll never get better. You're just going to say, I keep crushing my dad. But the goal is to have someone who will give you a fight back. So share your knowledge with them. Say, hey, Dad, you're not developing your pieces, or you're not doing this. Like, share your information so as to give the other person on the other side of that board something to work with too. And that person will elevate your game. So it's not about winning and winning easy. Winning easy is boring. You know what I mean?
I agree.
There's something about the fight that, oh gosh, I gotta rack my brain how to get through this. So you'll do it your whole life, not just in chess, buddy.
Totally agree. All my friends are just trying to challenge me, and it's just what other odds could I give you? I started with
I've taken a rook off the board. Oh yeah, you taking a queen and a rook?
Queen and rook. What am I else supposed
to do? Yeah. Stop hanging your pieces.
All right, Jesse. Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod.
Of course. Yeah.
Let's just do a little cheers and we'll end it out. Thank you for coming, Jesse.
All right. Cheers, Kyle. Cheers. We'll be in touch soon. Okay. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Tea with My Uncle Irohs. Catch us every Monday on your favorite podcasting service. TWMUI is written and produced by me. Definitely rate and review us on iTunes and follow me at Son of Paper on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Theme music by Keys. For more, visit facebook.com/unlockedkeys. Spill with y'all next time on Tea with My Uncle Irohs.